What it's funny is it seems like it actually times out pretty well. I found for like beating all the bosses
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much leveling up your camp, your
Uh-huh.
cult timed out pretty like it's not like I was grinding for too long. It but yeah, it's a good game. It's a good
Yeah,
game. I'm glad
I'm
to.
really enjoying it. So I'm going to talk about it a little on the show today because it's just, oh man, like it's. I don't know if it's game of the year material yet, but
Yeah,
it's 100% of my top five.
it's up there for my 2022 games.
Yeah.
Um, I was just trying to fuck around with what's it this it's not even doing the thing that it needs to do anymore.
What's up, man?
Um, sorry, I'm talking to myself. Basically, I'm trying to I'm trying to do this play a game called Singularity.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, I saw you popping up playing that game.
yeah, so I was not playing it. I was trying to make it save.
Oh shit.
Um,
That's going to be a problem. Yeah.
yeah, so it's one of those games that auto saves, and I'm like, great, okay. But every time I played it for a little bit, and then I exited out, and the next day I fired it up, and there was only one option, new game. So I was
Oh,
like,
that
okay.
sucks.
So I today was me basically just trying something with like admin privileges
Uh-huh.
or and whatever, and it just would not. No matter what I've done so far, um, it will not write a save file, and
Oh,
I'm not entirely sure what the deal is. And it's on the list for something that for the hot site or the podcast that we're going to be recording for Raven. So I don't know. Maybe I'll jump to another game on the list and see if
are there any like discussions on Steam or anything like that of
there
people seeing the
are.
same
That's the
thing?
thing is there are people who are just like, and everybody who has the issue, it gets resolved in a completely random and different way. There's
Uh,
no consistent way that the issue gets resolved,
that's the
and
worst.
I'm like, all right, well, fuck me, I guess, for
Oh,
trying
that
to
sucks.
play this game. What's funny is I played the first hour of it, and it's like, oh man, this game is really fun. It's pretty neat. Um, it's like they saw Bioshock and were like, yeah, let's make a Bioshock, and that's what Singularity is.
How to make a Bioshock by Singularity.
Um, it's it's just like even the health packs that you pick up are like little needles filled with red stuff,
Of course, of
and
course.
there's the audio journals. It's I mean the game's from 2010, so it's
Mm,
right in the peak
it's not a
of.
coincidence.
It's not a coincidence. It's very much.
Yeah.
What was Bioshock? 2007, I want to say.
2006, but yeah, yeah, I think.
Yeah,
I need to know now. Can't just throw that out there. Bioshock first person shooter game. 2007. You nailed it.
Bioshock 2007. Yeah, so I guess I'm just gonna. So what I did is I returned it on Steam, and I was like, well, okay, I'm gonna return it on Steam. I'm gonna buy it on Good Old Games.
Uh-huh.
First of all, it's only $4 on Good Old Games,
Oh,
so I returned the basically full price option on Steam and went over to GOG, and it was like, oh, $4, okay, that's fine.
yeah.
But even with the Good Old Games installation not working right,
Wow.
so I still gotta fuck about with it some more.
Oh yeah, this game's got a lot of Bioshock in it.
And yeah, basically you're traveling back and forth through like different timelines. Because so you go to Russia and they were working on some like mythical element called E99,
Uh-huh.
and early on in the game you walk through this like singularity that is it's from like maybe 10 years earlier or
Hmm.
something like that. And while you're there, you accidentally save a guy. So when you first walk into this building, it has this big bust of like Stalin, like in all right. And then you accidentally save this guy, and then you get zapped back to like present day, and you go back through the lobby again, and instead of Stalin, it's a statue of this dude,
Oh God.
the guy that you saved. And I was like, interesting. So it's that kind of game.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, they're not even trying. Like that is like they're just like, yeah, remember Bioshock? More of that. We're doing that.
Yeah, it was like when I walked into the lobby, I was like, um, it was like, oh, it looked like the Stalin statue looked like the one of Andrew
Like the
Ryan
Andrew Ryan.
too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's immediately what I thought about when you were describing it. I was like, oh, yep, there it is.
there it is. Okay,
is.
we got it. Yeah, Spotify. Why you open? Why you open Spotify?
Why
I don't
are
need to
you
listen to music right now.
Oh man, you would have laughed your ass off because my coworkers, when I gave my presentation the other day, they said that they thought it was so interesting because they hear it works sometimes, but they really got a glimpse of me going into announcer voice, as they put it. Like they were like, you just talk like Phil, but then when you're like doing a presentation, you've got this whole different voice. And one of my coworkers who sits right next to me and she knows about the podcast, she was like, and I bet that's how Phil talks on his podcast. I bet that's how he did stand up. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I don't think about it though. So it's really weird that you bring it up because I just don't think about it. But they're totally right. They're absolutely right. There are two different voices, damn it.
Two different voices.
And I know you've got a similar thing.
God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Open up my notes. Look at all these notes.
Notes.
Look at all these notes. I got pages of notes.
I've got my like last time on PixelLit like idea in my head, and it's just everyone has PTSD now. Oops, we're a third of the way through the book.
Everybody's sad.
Yeah.
Some are dying.
Everyone's sad, and they will be for a very, very long time.
There's nothing happy coming.
It's no one, even when this is over, even when the credits roll, the people who are alive, there's going to be a big therapy bill waiting for them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hit or miss on whether Lucas should actually make it out alive.
Oh, I know.
That poor buddy's just going to be so broken.
I love him. He's like, Lucas is my little cat. He's like my little, like, come here, buddy. Oh, Lucas, you sweet thing. Like, you're okay,
it's going to be okay.
But like, it's like, if I hope that he survives, am I damning him to a lifetime of just frozen nights and nightmares and that kind of thing? Like, God, maybe he shouldn't make it out. It just, the Emperor's peace is what he needs at this point. My God.
Yeah. Good Lord. Good Lord.
It is a tough book.
That is a tough book.
I cannot believe she came this hard for any video game novelization, let alone,
Oh, this book is loaded for bear.
Oh God, yes. Like
this is it. This book and Far Cry Absolution.
Yeah. Yes.
Whereas Far Cry Absolution was literally loaded for bear because there was bears.
Because there were bears in it. It's important to distinguch that. Yes.
Oh God. I do hope we get another book with the that prose that Far Cry Absolution had, with the
oh man,
with like he stood out on his front porch smoking a cigar, watching as the clouds rolled over the hill.
Dude, Cormac McCarthy, I was thinking about that because Cormac McCarthy's coming out with 2 books this fall, like one in October and the other one in November. And you're like, are you shitting me? Like, he hasn't written anything in 20 years. And he's just like,
dropping 2 at once.
Yeah, 2 at once.
They're probably both going to get adapted into movies.
Probably at this rate. Good Lord. So yeah, I'm there. If we don't get any more cool ass American Far Cry 5 style books, then I'll have to settle for, the OG of Misery in the American frontier.
Misery in the American Midwest to West.
Right, yeah. That way. Yeah. Man. Good Lord.
Oh gosh.
Let's see.
Yeah, I got a few games to talk about today.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I think.
I got the same two as last week.
That's fine. It's fine.
Oh, man.
Sometimes games take a little bit longer than...
I just haven't been able to play as much as I wanted to. Like I said, like the last like 4 or 5 days have been basically entirely dedicated to the presentation I gave on Tuesday and just wedding shit and stuff like that, because we're just like, everything's pretty much mostly figured out, but like all these little details start coming your way, and people ask questions about the wedding that you're like, that is a perfectly reasonable question to ask. God damn it, why didn't I think of that? So we, like, yesterday I updated the FAQ on our website, because a lot of people wanted to know what the specifics were on the menu items for Waffle House. And I'm like, of course you do. That is not self-explanatory. Good Lord.
Yeah.
And it's just shit like that.
The Waffle House thing, I was like, I'm taking a shot in the dark as to whatever the fuck these things mean.
I mean, it's like
it's like carb option 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. The All-Star Breakfast really is the way to do it, because you get a little bit of everything. But if you're like a sweet tooth fanatic, then you want the waffle bar, because you can get like fucking fruit and chocolate and peanut butter chips and all that stuff, and we're gonna have protein on the side. And then there's like, the hash brown smothered, covered, fried, dyed, and laid to the side style on that one. But we've been taking bets in the house on which one's going to come out on front, and All-Star was always my bet, and it is way ahead at this point. But briefly, it was 8, 8, and 8. I couldn't friggin' believe it. How many?
What's your guess on how many people are going to attend the wedding?
I think 100, probably 100. Yeah. Okay. We invited something like 130 odd.
Sure.
And a lot of those were people. That we were just like, you are not going to come, but I want you to know that I'm thinking of you.
I want you to know that I'm thinking of you, but you're not going to come. / please don't.
Right.
I'm hoping you don't.
I have a lot of people from Pennsylvania from the old undergrad days that are like, yeah, you bet your ass we're coming. And it's not that we don't want them to come. I was just like, I honestly didn't expect you were going to make it.
Didn't think that this was going to be a yes.
Did not think that was going to be a thing. We did get Graber and Rihanna express their condolences. Won't be able to make it, unfortunately.
Oh, God.
But mostly we're getting yeses. Mostly everybody's making it.
Is it because
so far.
I wonder. You know what? I know it's football season.
Oh, it fell on some sort of trip, I want to say.
Graber works for Sunday Night Football.
Well, there you go.
So I don't think he's
not allowed to go anywhere.
I don't think he can go anywhere on weekends during the fall.
That man has made it like it makes sense. Graber was always like the jock of the group, but like between that, the Olympics, all that shit, like it's like Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah,
like, he's killing it.
I asked him a couple months ago. I was like, "What do you do in between seasons?" And he's like, "Yeah, a little bit, nothing."
He makes enough money during football season.
Yeah, during football season that he doesn't have to.
Oh, you dirty son of a bitch!
So
Graber.
in between, he's like, just hobbies, hanging out.
Good for him.
Good for you.
Good for him. I
imagine he's got like balls to the walls hours during football season.
Oh, absolutely. Like they never see each other during those few months, but like after that, it's like the most intense oil rig kind of schedule you've ever had,
Yeah, so, he's like one of those king crab fishermen,
right?
Hey, did you hear this wild thing that all these Alaskan snow crabs have disappeared?
What? No, what is that?
They're gone. They are.
What?
I think it's the Alaskan snow crabs. Alaskan snow crab
Disappeared.
disappearance.
They've disappeared. Where they went is a mystery, but everyone agrees on one point: the disappearance is probably connected to climate change. Well, yeah, what a shock.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. That's gonna fucking ruin a lot of fishermen's lives.
They're gone.
They're just fucking gone. Oh,
That's got to be like, it's like the numbers are dwindling. They're like, no, they're fucking gone.
Yeah,
There is
no.
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
it was like the bee thing for a while. Same thing. The bees just weren't there. Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna take any. I don't eat crab. Well, that's not true. I don't eat Alaskan king crab. I don't eat that kind of crab. So
yeah, I'm not so much a crab person. I'll eat lobster.
it's all happening. They're all the things that we love from the sea. We need to learn how to love eating jellyfish, because after a while, that's going to be all that's left to eat out of the goddamn ocean.
The goddamn immortal jellyfish.
Right. We're gonna put those motherfuckers. They're gonna test their name, because we will not be denied food that we have to kill. That's all there is to it. Not in this country, no sir.
Have you guys gotten to the seating arrangements at the wedding, or
not yet? But we're working on some basic things. We're gonna have the SCAD table. We're gonna have an IUP table, stuff like that. But we haven't quite gotten to that point yet.
That makes sense.
Yeah. We're basically like right now. We just got the ceremony idea figured out, and
sure.
So we're basically like. The template starts with what the traditional thing to do is, and then we just kind of remove bits and pieces from it and play with it. So, and we're basing it on the tables that they gave us at the thing. So it's going to be the bridal party and us at one table, and that part's done at least. Right. Like the parents over on one side probably, and that kind of thing. But
is it bridal party or bridal party and their plus ones?
Right now it's just bridal party, based on the tables they've given us. But
got it.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it all out. But we just picked out we're doing kind of the draping. What do they call it? Hand fasting. It's a Scottish ceremony where you literally tie the knot.
Oh,
yeah.
Probably where tie the knot came from.
Yeah, I think that is where it comes from. But we did that, and because it's like you've got all these. We're like, this sounds fun. It sounds like something, because like her parents come over and drape a cloth over us. My parents come over and drape cloth over our arms. And then Tim comes in and drapes one over the top, symbolizing us coming together as a family. And then you tie it, and we're looking at these tutorials, and they're like, and there's this really beautiful way that everyone just, if you take 10 to 15 minutes a day for a couple of weeks practicing, you can learn the knot. And we're like, no, skip that one. And finally we come to the last one. And for those of you who aren't interested in elaborate knots, you can just do a simple tie like this. And we're like, that's the one we're doing. We're not asking you these poor people to learn how to do some elaborate knot.
Just if all else fails, just have Tim with like a stapler.
Right
in a pocket, and he's just gonna staple those cloths together.
Just a quick lighter underneath it, so it just all welds together.
There we go.
There, done. You're married as shit now.
The knot has Cronenberged together.
Exactly. That would be appropriate. I like that. I'd like that.
That would be appropriate. Yeah. God. You know what else is appropriate?
What's that?
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to PixelLit. My name is Kevin. Alongside with me, as always, is Phil. And today we're moving on to part 2 of Halo, the Rubicon Protocol.
Lord
and don't worry, we actually find out what Rubicon Protocol means in this section.
Yes, we do.
We get it thoroughly explained. So, Phil, what happened in part 1? If you can catch those people up who decided to just skip part 1 and came straight to part 2, what would you tell them?
Yes, Halo Rubicon. We're talking about the Rubicon Protocol. We are starting out basically right where there is a cut in Halo Infinite where the Infinite, the ship, has been attacked. Master Chief's been thrown out by the big bad into the dead of space. Now, in the game, 6 months later, someone comes by and rescues Master Chief, and they get him up to speed, presumably, and the game starts. But this book takes place in the 6 months between then, when Master Chief is missing in action, and everybody else is dealing with how fucked they are. There's really no other way to put this. And we come upon a group of some Spartans, but mostly we've got some Marines, some Spartans, and just a bunch of people who should not be seeing combat duty. We've got retail people literally running the shops. We've got a mortuary assistant. We've got some medics, just regular people, the people who keep the gears of war going without actually firing a rifle. And they are stuck on the Halo. What is it called? Halo Zeta?
Zeta, yeah.
Zeta, yes. They are on Halo Zeta / what is left of Halo Zeta, and dealing with the Banished, which is an offshoot of the now crumbled Covenant. And in the space of about 110 pages, we have had people split up. We have had horrible Vietnam level style ambush violence, complete with shaky PTSD moments. We've had nasty Spartan guerrilla warfare. We've had an enemy mine situation where one of our Spartans has to briefly work with a brute from the Banished side to make it out and come out alive. And they try to kill each other several times, but both manage to make it out of that one alive. We lose a few people along the way, but we get to a point where the majority of our team, the majority of our troopers, our a couple of Spartans, and our the guy who runs the PX.
Barbers.
Yeah, our barbers. That's right, a barber. That's right. What was a friggin' barber? They do end up at a way station of sorts. They are safe for the time being, but they have been very quickly assured, don't get comfortable, because the shit hits the fan tomorrow all over again. So, yeah, it's pretty brutal. This book is a gut punch so far.
It is.
Yeah, we're dealing not just with like, oh, someone died, vengeance. No, we're dealing with, I killed someone with my bare hands, and even though it's an alien, I don't know if I can cope with that. I'm not a murderer. I didn't join up for this. It is, oh my God, like, get ready to pour some syrup all over your PTSD waffles, because that's what this book is. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, when we pick up, we're in chapter 13, and it's been about 30 days since we last saw any of our characters. And we pick up in chapter 13 with the boat crew, as they've kind of been calling themselves, and they've been training for a solid month. And honestly, they've become okay, you know? What's her name? Dimmick. She is Dimmick. That's her name, right?
Yeah, Dimmick. Yeah,
Dimmick. Yeah, she has actually become pretty proficient in hand-to-hand combat, and because the chapter starts with Murphy basically doubling over from an elbow to the face from her. Right. So Murphy is a pilot, but there's nothing left for him to fly, so he has been put in charge of training the non-military personnel into turning them into some sort of workable, I guess, infantry unit.
Yeah, in a lighter-hearted film, this would be the 80s montage where they're like, I gotta turn these group of punk kids into the best football team in central Indiana. How am I gonna do that in 30 days? And montage kicks in, synth music. But there's no touchdowns to be had here, just tragedy.
Yeah, it's like, just imagine if Stripes transitioned into Full Metal Jacket. And that's...
Oh, God, that's exactly what it is. Oh, no.
Just edit those two two halves of movie together.
Never been the same since I've seen Harold Ramis say hardcore and shoot a Vietnamese woman in the head. It's just hasn't been the same since.
Hasn't been the same since. So everybody on the boat crew has their own special roles. And from what they say, Spartan Hudson Griffin is now basically in charge of the remaining UNSC forces. And things are tense, you know? That's basically what all that could be said for them.
Yeah.
In the next chapter, we get Stone and Kovan. They're basically watching a group of Spartans march away from the Mortal Reverie. And we find out that Stone and Kovan were the ones responsible for finding some intel on who the new banished leader is on Zeta Halo. It's a brute named Escharum. And Escharum is an old, grizzled, brute war veteran who has managed to bring together all of the warring clans of brutes and other aliens within the Banished to turn it into a unified fighting force. Because without somebody like Escharum, the Banished would also be in disarray.
Yeah.
But Escharum has the cult of personality to be able to kind of line them up and get them all together. And Stone and Kovan, they're a little bummed to be not part of the mission. They wish they could go out with the other Spartans, but they know that that's not going to be, that's not going to be the case.
Not really feasible at this point.
Not really feasible at this point. Hey now, oh boy, it's a week later. The
through the weeks here.
So basically, these Spartans left the Reverie to go try to assassinate Escharum, right? It's a week later. The assassination attempt failed. And not only did the assassination attempt fail, Escharum is pissed, and he knows where the Mortal Reverie, like where the UNSC forces are amassed now at the Mortal Reverie, and has vowed retaliatory action that night.
Yeah. Turns out he wasn't real fond on giving them a little time to prep themselves for retaliation. The last time I had an assassination attempt upon my life, I was grumpy. I get it. I don't mind saying that.
It's a grumpy. He's just a grumpy Gus.
Feels bad, man. I get it.
Feels bad. So yeah, the Banished are coming. They have 6 hours to prepare.
And with all of the military allusions in this book, there are so many allusions to World War II, Vietnam, all that stuff. I'm surprised they didn't have like a member of the Spartan force like riding through screaming, "The Banished are coming, the Banished are coming," like while ringing a big bell.
Yeah. So basically, the way the chapter kind of unfolds is Kovan is just kind of all the Spartans remaining on the ship were in a meeting, and they all come out and they're all like, "Oh fuck!" And Murphy basically goes to Kovan and like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "Yeah, we have 6 hours to prepare for this this upcoming slaughter." So everyone is gearing up. Murphy, he hasn't worn infantry armor in years. I mean, he's been a pilot for a very long time. You got and Gavin Joe and Lucas Browning, the mortuary assistant and the medic, respectively, are the ones running the triage tent, and everybody else is basically they're in their groups. They have these units that they try to put together where they spread out, like, everybody gets like a Spartan and like 3 ODSTs and like 5 Marines, and then whoever else can hold a gun.
Right.
It's basically they're trying to like spread out the wealth of
it's how we'd all do it if we were playing a turn-based strategy game, just like spread it out.
Yeah. And everyone is scared, and everybody gets kind of like a moment with the other person before the banished arrive, which I think is kind of like nice.
Yeah.
And then those moments end when the first like of the gunfire starts like picking up.
Yeah. It's a really heavy chapter. It's
yeah,
bleak. It's you really feel how scared these people are. It's
right.
good writing. It's really, really good.
And it's good. You know, it's good writing because it then jumps to a day and a half later. We're on day 53 now, and the fighting has been going on for a day and a half, and it's just this bleak, like it opens with Gavin and Lucas trying to drag a Spartan to the triage tent, and like barely able to move them because they have their armor. Like they have this, he has like a gravity plate that he's using to try to make them a little bit lighter.
Right.
But he's just trying to get the Spartan out of the fire and to the medical area.
They literally want to like tow him like a log or something. And they want to tie a rope to him or something and just drag him behind them at some point.
Yeah. And this is kind of where shit hits the fan, because from what I gathered, the medical tent was basically one of the most rear positions in the setup.
Yeah.
And so they get there, and suddenly, the banished forces start like popping in, like, oh, we're here.
Yeah. Surprise, bitch.
Surprise, bitch, with a big old introduction with one of the jackals. Appears behind Gavin and impales him with a plasma sword. And of our first kind of like main-ish characters, Gavin Joe, the mortuary assistant, is the first to be struck down. So he's killed by the jackal. Everybody is panicking. It basically this is the moment the line breaks. And the only option is to run. So the Reverie is burning. Everybody's on the run. Kovan's shielding on her armor is toast. Basically, her armor is like one of those Mark I armors that Master Chief had back in the Fall of Reach, before the original Mjolnir armor didn't have any shields. It was just heavy armor.
Yeah, it was as effective as it was thick. That's really what it came down to.
And so they basically, Stone and Kovan end up splitting up. Stone is like doing some scouting. Kovan leads them all into a cave to take cover, and Kovan's armor freezes. There's like a ballistics layer inside of her armor that like a density, it can change densities, right? And I think it's designed to absorb the shock of impacts and things like that. But it's on the fritz, and it keeps like hardening. And so there's this moment where it seems like there's a bunch of Banished that's about to attack the cave that they're hiding in. She's like going to go check it out, and she basically freezes and falls over. And her armor just won't move, won't budge. So our little baby boy, our sweet baby boy, the medic, Lucas. Sweet Lucas.
I love Lucas so much.
Oh, he's such a sweet boy.
He's just a sweet kid. You want to put him in your pocket. He's adorable.
You want to put him in your pocket. He runs out of the cave.
Ugh.
He jumps into one of the Banished ships. I think it's like one of those motorbike type, floating motorbike type things.
It's Banshee, is that what it is?
Yeah, something like that. And he takes off in it, and he crashes it immediately.
He starts like thinking, suckers, fuck you. You just imagine him like giving him the finger and everything, and then he just slams into a wall.
So he's But he gets the attention of the search party. The search party is like, oh, there he is. And Lucas gets up and he starts running and he runs into what he thinks is a wall. And then he realizes it's actually a brute.
Yeah.
And
I
they
loved
decide,
that detail.
yeah, it's a nice detail. Like he runs into a wall. It's not a wall.
Oops.
It's a brute.
No, it's a
dude. He's captured instead of killed by the search party. But his sacrifice is not in vain because the search party is like, okay, yeah, that's fine, and they move on.
Yeah.
And the people in the cave are safe. Kovan's AI finally resets her armor, like gets the armor reset, and she's able to move around again. And she immediately runs out of the cave. Can't find Stone. Can't find Browning, and she is beating herself up over this. Something fierce. Kovan has like many other Spartans, has a big like hero complex.
Yeah.
And having that moment taken by this kid, really not in like, oh, it should have been me. It's like, oh, I'm meant to protect him. And he's the one who did it.
Yeah, it's not in this macho bullshit kind of a way of like, you stole my moment. Like, it's just like, no, I'm literally designed to be the one to take the brunt of that, to protect guys like you. And she even says later down the lines, like that kid taught us all what actual heroics look like by doing that. It's a really wonderful moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good moment. A couple days later, the crew is still hiding in the cave, and Kovan finally returns from her scouting. She returns with some food and supplies and things like that, but basically breaks it down to them that, yeah, there's nothing. There's no rally point.
Yeah,
we are a group, and we are all that we know is out there.
Yeah. Nobody's coming. We're alone. We're on our own.
Nobody's coming for us.
Yeah. It's like, cool. I was thinking that things were getting a little too easy on us.
Yeah. So it's a few days later. We're on day 59 now, and Lucas is being kept in a massive prison, like this holding camp with a lot of the other Reverie folks. And it's just gross. They're all packed in tightly. He learns early on not to complain or make any noise or basically do not get their attention in any manner.
You want them to think that you are not there.
Yes. And so one day there's basically this, everybody's brought out for an inspection. And he's standing in line and he gets to the head of the line, and the person that's doing the inspection is human. And we find out that there are humans in the banished army, which is like a weird little detail.
Yeah, because pieces of humanity did join the Covenant,
right,
and therefore did. Yeah, it parallels what you read about. Interestingly enough, during World War II, in the concentration camps, that Nazis were very fond of using other Jews to process the other ones, basically giving them some level of what's the word, extra privilege, and it had the effect of completely, and they describe that in this book, just completely demoralizing the prisoners, because it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, like even our side is against us on this level.
Yeah, exactly. So he's inspected by the guy, and he's like sent off to some other area. He's like, yeah, this guy will do. And Lucas is watching what's happening, and basically everybody who is a soldier is, or looks like they can fight, is getting pulled out of line to be like executed. And then there's this moment where he's sitting in his cell, and the brutes bring out all these Spartan bodies. There's like a half dozen Spartans, they in their armor, and they are just like Lucas is like, they might not be dead, but by the
Mm-hmm.
time they're done ripping the armor off of them, they were definitely dead.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And then I think at one point there's like a grunt that's just kind of like walking by. There's a cell where everybody else is being held, and there's a grunt walking by, and he just like throws a canister in there and keeps doing his yap style dance
Right.
as he's walking by, and the little canister releases methane and just smothers and suffocates everybody in the cell.
Right.
And Lucas is not doing well.
Lucas ain't doing okay. Our darling sweet boy Lucas. He doesn't deserve this.
He's seeing a lot of shit.
Oh God.
So he is taken then to the tower, which is basically like another prison type of camp thing.
It's always good. If you're ever told like we're taking you to the tower, it's not good news. Things aren't going well.
Never follow a brute to a second location.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's thrown into a cell, and there's like a mysterious stranger in the cell next to him, who is like, oh, I can't tell you. It's better for you if I don't tell you who I am. And I'm like, that's the captain of the boat, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that because they keep talking about Captain Lesky.
He's missing, and
he's
finding
missing,
him would
like,
be a huge morale boost. And yeah,
and like
I
think that's the captain.
Yeah.
So that's just my guess.
I think you're right. That makes sense.
So that entire Lucas chapter is basically takes place over the course of like a month.
Yeah.
Because by the time we pick up, we're in day 82. It's March 3rd. It's the 7-year anniversary of the defeat over the Covenant.
Yeah.
And in that intervening time, there are all these scattered, basically resistance groups of fighters, and they're doing what they can to fuck with the Banished.
Mm-hmm.
There's and as you do, there's a leaderboard. These guerrilla fighters that are like ODSTs. One is called the Grave Diggers.
Yeah.
And the other
what was the one? Oh, keep reading.
The other is called Hatriox.
That's what I loved it. Yeah.
Because the big bad of the Banished is Atriox.
Atriox, yeah.
They called themselves Hatriox, and
it's such a jock jarhead kind of a name.
It's so nice and petty. And
it's fantastic.
It's beautiful.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. The boat crew has made their way to a forward operating base, and their cam is on the radio fucking about, and we hear. I love this. There's a grunt named Glibnub.
Yeah.
Who has a propaganda radio show.
Yeah. It's Tokyo Rose. Like that's yeah.
He's basically like, hey, did you wake up thinking that today was going to be better than yesterday? Well, you were wrong.
Yeah. He literally says that. He's like, we've got a new prisoner, this Marine. Did you know that the humans have got to get permission to fuck? Well, he's not going to get. Well, guess what, Marine? Permission denied. You're not going to be able to fuck when you're dead. Like he's literally saying this shit. It's ridiculous. And the best part to me is that, and I think I get it, because the best part to me is that the flight crew they're listening. They're listening to it, probably because when they're not being scared out of their minds, they're probably bored out of their tit. Like, of course, we'll even listen to the stupid, crazy propaganda radio because we're that bored.
Right.
It's fantastic. I love it.
So, and Glibnub apparently is pretty high up on the list of people to kill in terms of like points.
Yeah.
What was that game that had and I think it might be a real thing, I'm not sure, where they have like the deck of cards
Mercenaries. That game
Mercenaries.
fucking ruled. That was a underrated gem of a game. That game was awesome. Yeah.
Where like you had these people to kill, and they were like represented like, okay, so this person is like the Jack of Diamonds, and this person's the Queen of Hearts, and this person
and the
is
higher up they are in the deck line, they're like more important. It's North Korea, and you're in the demilitarized. You pass through the demilitarized zone, and you're just fucking shit up. It was called Playground of Destruction, and that's exactly what it was. God, that was a good game. Yeah.
I remember having a lot of fun with that game. I don't know how well it holds up in terms of
I don't either.
appropriateness.
Yeah, a lot of things really.
But it was fun at the time.
So. It was super fun at the time. It was an Xbox classic as far as I'm concerned.
Glibnub is pretty high up on that card ranking.
He's probably a queen, a jack at lowest.
Yeah, like they would love to get rid of Glibnub.
Oh, absolutely.
And then they get a long wave broadcast to all UNSC personnel that Rubicon protocol has been enacted. And
here it is.
They're like, what's because the boat crew, they don't know what Rubicon protocol is, and they're like, well, what's that? And Murphy and Kovan are like, well, it means complete asset denial. And they're like, well, what does that mean? It's like, well, there's nothing off limits now.
Yeah.
Poison water supplies. It's like, go forth and commit war crimes is basically Rubicon protocol.
There's nothing holding you back. Go forth and fuck shit up. Like that's all. And I love one of the Marines is like, you mean what we've been doing?
Yeah. And we're like, well, we've been doing that. And we're like, you're like, yeah, just keep doing it.
Well, now it's sanctioned. So
go
have fun, you crazy kids. What is that? Nerve gas? Oh well.
Nerve gas? Yeah, it's fine. White phosphorus? Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Fuck them.
Oh God. So the next day, it's day 83, and we get our friendly cowboy back.
Oh yes,
Thomas Horvath is back, and he's alive. He basically spent a week in a coma with his suit taking care of him. And
good suit. Those suits rule.
Those suits rule. He took a beating, and he is back on his feet. And he's been, hunting a little bit here and there because he needs the food. And he's just trying to figure out, hey, where do I go? What do I do?
Right.
And he's just been doing his own mercenaries thing, picking off banished targets one by one. Just being like a little ghost in the jungles of Zeta Halo. And he's trying to get back to to somewhere with a UNSC presence when he finds this area that the banished has been basically a banished dig site. And he goes to investigate. There's no banished around. They've completely left the area, and he finds a temple that had been unearthed in the dig site. And he climbs down. He finds more artifacts, like the artifacts that he found on the ship with Gorian, and he goes through this little temple area, and he gets there's a life sign reading, and it's a human. Like, all right, this is weird. He goes in and he finds an ONI agent, and she is in a pretty bad shape.
Yeah, she's looking rough.
She's had both of her legs broken. She's had her fingers cut off. She's been beat to shit. And she's just kind of sitting there waiting to die.
Yeah.
And she gives him the lowdown on listen, there have been UNSC and ONI people on Zeta Halo for a few years now, looking into all this stuff. She had been doing a ton of research about what actually is in Zeta Halo that's so important. And she gives him the lowdown on, all right, here's what they're looking for, and here's where they're going next. And then she gives him her name, which is like a breach of protocol. She's not supposed to ever reveal who she is.
Yeah.
Kate Stalling. And he hands her his service pistol. He gives her some privacy. He goes, and after a few moments, there's a single gunshot as she kills herself. And then he goes and collects his gun and moves on. And he vows
he does
to
give her a burial.
Yeah, he vows to figure it all out and kill Gorian because he is like, I should have killed. He basically says, I should have killed that guy immediately.
Because he was the one responsible for doing.
Gorian was the one who did the torturing of this ONI agent. So yeah, he feels responsible. Horvath feels responsible for what happened to Kate Stalling, or Jaeger, as her
that was
code name was.
Code name. Yeah, he says, do you have a name? Even though he knows it's a breach of protocol. And she says Jaeger, and he's like, because there's nothing more like obviously a fake code name than Jaeger.
Right. Oh God. This is I wrote really brief notes. So this is 40 days later. It's another month later, and we cut back to the boat crew. And there is, they do this like Inglorious Bastards war movie sequence where they find a camp of grunts.
Yeah.
Who when the grunts feel they're safe, they set up this like bubble where they all can just like walk around without their masks on in the bubble, because the bubble gets filled with methane. And they have Cam and Dimmick running along the perimeter and planting explosives. And then it was something like Kovan is up in a tree, and Kovan's like, well, there's a good chance that my bullet would be able to ignite this thing, but we want to make sure. So it's something like she shoots the explosive with her sniper rifle.
Yeah.
And it detonates, because methane is flammable. It detonates this entire campsite of grunts, just incinerating all of them.
Right.
And I just wrote in my notes, it was awesome.
It's fucking awesome. It's like, we need a break. We need a win. We need a win here, and this does it, and you just don't think about the fact that it's just grunts. It's just screamy, shrieky grunts, but whatever. We got a win, and it was a very cool win. That's what it's going to have to be for now.
Yeah. And so basically all these search parties get sent out, and they had a plan where it's like, all right, now scatter. We'll lay low for a couple days, and then we'll regroup. And so Kovan is just up in the trees, basically chilling out. And she's like, her inner monologue, thinking about how inspired she is by this boat crew who has, from the time that she's met them, have turned into this like pretty fierce guerrilla, fighting unit.
Yeah. Necessity has made them into just friggin' jungle warriors. It's pretty great.
Yeah. And then, so a few days later, they notice that the Banished seem to be amassing towards the Mortal Reverie. They had kind of moved south of it, but they're heading back north to kind of gather around the Reverie. And Kovan finds Stone. They see each other through their scopes.
Like sniper to sniper for a minute. I was like, this is cool. This is pretty cool.
And they reunite, and So Stone kind of like gives her gives Kovan a laydown of like, oh, all right. So there's a couple of those Spartans, Sorrel and Mako, and they've been operating out of there's like a forward operating base. So the way these forward operating bases work is they get launched from a ship and they just like land on the planet side. Um, uh, Sorrel and Mako, Spartan Sorrel and Mako, have been operating out of a crashed forward operating base, and like, but the communications equipment have been working.
Right.
So they've been able to like coordinate like data dumps and like information between the Spartans out in the field. Um, and then Stone mentions that the Banished are amassing and that Eshram might be with them. He might be at the Mortal Reverie. And then at the exact same time that we are seeing this happen, that they're having this conversation, we cut over to Lucas, who is being dragged in front of Escharum. He is like
Poor Lucas.
he has somehow become the chosen human, and there is a Forerunner device. So, and I guess I never picked up on this, but the only like species that is able to interact with Forerunner technology are humans.
Right. Yeah.
There's no that that nobody else can touch it. It doesn't work for them. So they drag Lucas in, and Eshram is like, "All right, make him do the thing." And one of the brutes, the brute that is like has been guarding him specifically, like grabs his wrist and like smashes his hand down onto a console, and it starts opening up this thing, and out comes this alien that no one has ever seen before.
Yeah. It's not like any other kind of alien race that's existed in the Covenant or otherwise.
It says it has was it a bifurcated mouth?
Yeah, something, and I think they said triangular kind of headpiece, and
Yeah.
very intense.
Yeah. Anyway, it's called the Harbinger. Not a good thing.
No, and I'm getting the impression it's really disturbing here actually, because the Harbinger basically tells not the Covenant, but the Banished that have awoken it, I'm gonna kill everything. I'm going to undo everything that has ever been. And the leader of the Banished is like, good. It's just like, oh, good, okay.
Yeah, great.
We're dealing with those assholes on the internet. Okay, great, good.
Okay. And then she turns to Lucas and she says, "This one is mine."
Poor Lucas.
Poor Lucas. I don't know what that means.
Sweet baby.
Sweet baby Lucas. So the crew has basically the crew has set up a camp near the Mortal Reverie just to like observe what's going on. And Stone is able to find Lucas. He's basically sitting in a phantom, by himself. Everybody else is asleep. There's, guards marching around.
Being attacked by a moth. It literally charged the back of my head twice.
I saw it flying around earlier.
It's been kind of going. It's like, whatever, moth, I don't care. But literally just now, it like charged my head, bounced off, got a little more distance, and charged my head again. Come on, dude. I'm trying to give you some space.
My first week living in Savannah, I'm sitting in my bedroom, tiny bedroom, in my apartment, and I see a cockroach crawling on the wall.
Sure.
And I'm like, ugh, cockroach. I'm going to go smack it or something.
Right.
And then it flew at me.
Uh-huh.
Now, in everywhere else, in the civilized world, when you see a cockroach, it normally is it's ground bound. It's just a dude walking around.
Sure.
Not in Savannah.
Not in Savannah, baby. They're not great flyers, but neither are you.
Neither are you.
So
They're called palmetto bugs,
palmetto bugs.
and they will, when harassed, they just go straight at you.
Oh
And
yeah. Yeah, they're aggressive. I'm pretty sure they have opposable thumbs. Like they're
yeah,
dangerous animals.
and their wings have this like, you like,
And they're just heavy, dense meat flying at you with little hummingbird wings. It's so bizarre. They're the strangest animals.
yeah, I don't like them. Um,
Or should you?
our friend Lee used to do a bit
Yeah.
about palmetto bugs and how everything in Savannah is named like different than
Yeah.
what they. So you talk about how in Savannah, and it's not an alleyway.
It's a lane.
It's a lane.
It's a
And
lane.
it's not a cockroach. It's palmetto bug.
Palmetto bug. Little palmetto bug.
It's just a little palmetto bug. Don't pay no attention to that palmetto bug.
Oh yeah. No one thinks about the palmetto bugs until they steal your wallet.
No, yeah, those palmetto bugs they'll wait till you're asleep and they'll jack everything you own.
They will steal your fucking identity.
They will steal your identity. Fucking palmetto bugs. Anyway, it's
Halo.
Halo. The war, like the Covenant would have won had they had palmetto bugs.
Probably. I'm willing to bet, yes, that if
like,
either side had palmetto bugs, it would have been just a
Human-sized palmetto bugs.
oh, it's over. It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
It's over. Yeah. So Stone tells Kovan that she's found Lucas, and she realizes immediately that was probably a mistake, because Kovan is like, I gotta go save him. I gotta save him, and Stone's like, I shouldn't have told you.
Yeah, Stone thinks to herself, if I tell Kovan that Lucas is here, she might do something stupid, and I'm going to do it anyway. Kovan's like, I'm going to do something stupid. Like, I even said to myself that you shouldn't. God damn it. Okay.
So they're like, all right, well, we're gonna do it at night, and
let's do something stupid at night. Let's
do something stupid at night. So Stone is gonna watch, and Kovan is gonna go try to get him, and Kovan is able to get there without incident.
Yeah.
The problem is Lucas now has these like wrist things on, that are tied to, I assume, the Harbinger.
There's some sort of like psychic shackle or something.
He's like, I can't take these off, and I'm not sure what will happen if you try to take them off.
But one or both of us is probably going to die if you give it a shot, though. So maybe
not.
Don't.
And they have a really emotional moment. It is.
Yeah, they do.
It is for as much shit as we have gone through, as they have gone through in this book, we hit this moment, and it's like, oh, this is almost tears,
Yeah, it's very emotionally raw. Basically, like we talked about before, with this Spartan that's genetically designed to save these people, facing her inability to save the person that not only she's meant to save, but who saved her. So it's not just duty, it's personal.
Yeah.
And just feeling completely helpless because she knows that if she tries, probably nothing good's going to come of it at this point.
Right. And that there's a lot of emotional moments in these chapters where they mention that Kovan is like fighting through a lump in her throat. Like these Spartans are supposed to be like, demigods,
right.
But we're at a point in this story where they, Kovan especially she's been broken down by the situation. And it's getting to her, and it's getting to Stone. It's not an easy thing. They've been on here for 100 133 days,
Yeah, I was about to say it's got to be like 4 months at this point. Yeah.
4 months of just the shit,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Everybody's just getting worn down at this point.
So Kovan gives him a little recording device, just slips it into his pocket and says, "Listen, if I can't help you, if I can't save you, then I'm giving you a mission. And it's to find out everything that you can about the Harbinger.
Yeah.
Like just everything you hear. You can plant this device somewhere. They're never going to notice it. And it's just going to start recording. So find a spot and just plant it and let it go to town."
Yeah.
And then she takes her helmet off, and she gives him a smile, like before she leaves, and it's like this little human moment.
Yeah. 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 That's why she wants to give him some level of remembrance, some level of humanity that he can hold on to a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of the opposite of what she has been Oh no.
Hello,
Hi, you still there?
I'm still here. Yeah,
Hold on. Oh wait, you there? Oh
yeah.
no.
There we go.
I think I pulled something on the.
Yeah, yeah. You said almost the opposite of, and then it froze.
I was saying it's the opposite of what she's been trained basically since her inception as a Spartan to do.
Yeah.
She's meant to deny that humanity on a certain level, and this is the one moment that she just can't bring herself to do that. It's a tragic moment. It's beautiful.
Yeah, there's a few things that, and then we have one final day that we're covering today. One final chapter. It's really brief, but Lucas is brought back to the tower, and he's in really rough shape, but he decides that he's going to focus on this mission now, and that's the importance of Kovan giving him this mission, is that he has something to focus on other than just his slow and inevitable demise.
Yeah, she's given him a serious gift, something to focus his energies on. Yeah.
So there's a couple things I forgot to mention in the first episode. One, Zeta Halo entered slip space when the ring had its rupture. It entered slip space. They don't know where they are in the universe.
It's like you're on a planet doing hyperspeed. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
So it's somewhere in the galaxy.
Yeah.
They're going to try to figure it out. That's part of what Horvath is going to be trying to figure out, is where it jumped them to. The other thing is, and people who are very familiar with Halo probably already know this, but these Spartans are not the same type of Spartan as Master Chief. Master Chief was raised from basically 5 years old to be a Spartan. Horvath, for example, did not enter the Spartan program until he was like 16 or something like that. Yeah. So it's a little bit different. It's, these Spartans they're people that have more experience with humanity, I think, than some of the Gen 1 Spartans would have had.
Yes, they have memories to hold on to, and you deal with that a lot. Horvath, in fact, is paralyzed, isn't he? Outside of the suit. Yeah, it's something like that. It's some sort of condition where, outside of being a Spartan as just a regular human, I believe was quadriplegic. I could have missed that, but
yes, it was something like that, where if he, the surgeries or whatever left him paralyzed, but with the power of the suit, he's able to move around.
Yes, that's what it is. Yes. So these people have humanity and that sort of thing, but it kind of makes me think a little bit about the way I've had friends who are doctors or went to med school or something, and they talk about that a lot, about the reason you might think your doctor or all doctors are assholes is because they are trained not to get emotionally involved in their patients, because that leads to, they need to Vulcan it up, so they can think logically about what you're dealing with, and
Right.
that kind of thing. And it's kind of what you're seeing here with these Spartans, as opposed to, like you said, John the Master Chief. He's, he was raised into this, so he's got kind of a stranger, more childlike look at all this. As we've said before, it's kind of a Captain America kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're covering, and we got one episode to go on the Rubicon protocol.
2/3 of the way through this one.
2/3 of the way through.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I cannot believe Kelly Gay came this hard with a video game novelization. I'm really hoping we get to speak to her because I can't stop thinking about the pitch to to a 343 and Xbox, and to be like, okay, how we've been doing these fun Halo space operas and everything like that? What if we take the thrill of space opera combat and replace it with the visceral horrors of war and the psychological toil that follows? Huh? Huh? What do you say? Like, I cannot imagine what that pitch was like. So I'm fascinated. This might be one of the most. This is probably the most emotionally draining book we've read on this show.
It is very charged.
I mean that in a positive way.
Yeah, in a very positive way.
Yeah.
Hopefully it sticks the landing next week.
Yes, fingers crossed.
But so far, oh god, it is top tier. It is towards the top of the books that we've read.
Oh yeah, S level, no question.
It's an S tier book.
Yeah, no question.
I'm so, as Phil mentioned, we hope to talk to her. We're sending out our feelers for that, and we'll let you fine folks know whether we're going to get her into the shop, so to
Absolutely.
speak, to talk to her. So with all that said, though, Phil,
yes,
what are you playing?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked, Kevin, because I have exciting news. I'm still playing Vampire Survivors.
Really? I am surprised.
I know, crazy. No, I did sit down and go through. It's not enough at this point to just do the achievements. I had to go through the secrets book too now, and do all the unlocking that I could possibly do. I fought the little meatball man at the bottom of the tower. Unlocked. Yeah. I unlocked our queen. Who owns everything?
Queen Sigma. She is Sigma. Just,
love it. And I'm caught back up on the achievements and all the secrets. So I'm back to where I began in a way. After I finished that, though, I have been playing a lot of Cult of the Lamb, surprising absolutely no one.
I'm not surprised that it's one of those games that's when I was playing it, I was like, this is a Phil game.
Yeah, and it's not just the aesthetic and the attitude. It does have my sense of humor. It does, but the gameplay style is a very, very big draw for me. And I beat the first boss, and now I seem to be just completely focused on my cult until I'm fully drawn away from that. I do have something I have to confess to you, though, Kevin.
What's that?
As you know, because you've beaten this game.
Yes.
You can, like many strategy games, when you get a cultist, you can customize them. and you can rename them.
Okay.
I got excited. First couple of cultists, I named one of them after my fiance, and then the second one I named after you,
Oh, well, thank
Kevin.
you.
Yeah, well, I thought you're adorable. You were adorable. You're a little fox. With,
I was adorable.
You were adorable. You had the neat culty face paint and just too cute. And I may have had to sacrifice you.
Okay.
But you were a dissident. You started talking shit about me in front of the other cultists. You made me look like a fool, Kevin, a fool.
So you stabbed me.
I did you one better. I sent you to a higher plane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you ascended me.
I ascended you, and then pieces of meat fell from the sky. Probably not your meat. Probably. It's. But anyway, I feel better. I'm glad I could.
I'm glad you could
off
admit
my
that.
chest.
Yeah. That's funny because that's the way I handle dissidents. If I needed to, because I never unlocked this option. There is an option to unlock murder.
Yes.
I didn't get it. I went in the other direction. I forget what the other option is, but yeah, you can just like straight up murder,
straight up kill him.
Yeah. I feel like it's better to either sacrifice or ascend them.
Yeah.
It gives
you a bunch of faith for the rest of the group.
When you sacrifice them, this eldritch tentacle.
I love it. Yeah.
What's up, Camilla? Hello. Look at it.
Hey, kid. She heard about eldritch tentacles and she was
heard
like,
about
yeah.
it, the eldritch, yeah. So yeah, when you sacrifice them, there's this eldritch tentacle that like basically reaches up from the floor and grabs them and starts squeezing, and it looks like their head is about to pop.
Yeah.
And then they get pulled down through it's brutal.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite thing about the game is the before you have an outhouse and your little dudes are just walking around and they poop.
Yeah.
And like the little shame face that they have after they poop in the middle of the camp. I was like,
it's just they're so upset that they had to poop.
They're so upset that they've had to poop, but everybody poops.
Everybody poops. No one taught them that. But if you're going to keep them under your thumb, shame is a valuable tool. So I get it.
It's true.
But yeah, I friggin' love this game. This is definitely like top 5 game of the year material for me right now. It's I played so much of it that I felt guilty, like on a level that I haven't felt in a long time. Like I felt like I was. Well, yeah, like I felt like I was 20 years old and I'd skipped like my chemistry class, or something like that to play Morrowind instead, and just like that tells you exactly how old I am. But god damn, it's a great game. I'm really enjoying it. So, all right, Kevin, what are you playing, my friend?
So I am playing. Right now I'm playing a game called Nightmare of Decay.
Ooh, okay.
Which is it's basically like I was in the mood for some Resident Evil.
Sure.
It's has the 1990s aesthetic.
Oh yeah, this has got some serious classic look.
It's first person, and it basically feels a lot like a really tight, small Resident Evil 1 experience.
Okay.
I have a feeling I'm not too far away from the end at this point, so we'll see how that goes. But I think it's a fun game.
Okay. Cool.
The only criticism I'd level at is if the developer had the time to just like hire a UX artist.
Oh yeah.
Like because the buttons and all, like that would be like just the finishing polish, just like the inventory and the buttons and all that stuff. They're a little like they're looking a little rough. So
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and it's tough with games like these because on one hand, you wonder. The problem is you wonder how much of this is a stylistic choice versus we couldn't afford to hire someone to take care of certain aspects of this.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
it looks interesting though. Might be worth a whirl.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's good. I think it's a fun little, and it's not that expensive. So,
Nice,
what else have I been playing? I played Vampire Survivors a bit.
nice.
I had finished up Cult of the Lamb. I already reported on that, and I was trying to finish, not finish, but install Singularity.
Yeah, I saw you going in and out on that one.
Yeah, so Singularity is a game by Raven Software. They're the Heretic and Hexen people
Hmm.
from around 2010, and it's part of a thing that I'm doing with Hot Cider, where we talk about all of Raven's games, and this one, it's very much a Bioshock inspired game,
Oh yeah, big
from the
time.
aesthetic and somewhat of the story and all that stuff. I don't think it's necessarily an sim. Well, Bioshock was barely an immersive sim.
Right.
Um,
Oh, I
it
wouldn't
just
call
kind
it
of,
that at all. Yeah.
I wouldn't call it that at all. It just has kind of like the roots in System Shock, which is the one of the original sims.
Right.
But yeah, so it's it's good, and I played like an hour of it, and then I exited out, and the game did not save. So I've been having all sorts of issues with the save file. Um, I returned it on Steam. And I tried to install the good old games version. That one didn't work either. So I don't know. I'm figuring it out.
That is so frustrating. You put so much time into some of these. I mean, how much? Yeah, I mean, you hadn't. How long had you played it
I had only
before?
played like an hour, but
Okay, but
I was like,
god
I'm going to
damn.
dedicate some time to it today, and
Yeah.
all the time I would have dedicated to today was me fucking about with like install files and
Right.
things like that, which
Oh
is
man,
it's always the bummer
that is a bummer.
with computer games, but it's it reminds me of being a kid and having our old, Windows machine
Yeah.
and having to like go into DOS and change settings and stuff just to get like the CD version of Day of the Tentacle to run
Yeah.
or something like that.
We didn't have gaming rigs back in those days. It was just a computer. There
Right.
weren't gaming computers, and so you had to, if whether or not a game would or wouldn't work on your computer was anyone's guess. Your dad wasn't helping you with it. He didn't know how the fuck it worked either. And sometimes you'd sit there and install Indiana Jones and the Quest for Atlantis on 16 floppy disks and then find out it absolutely was not going to work on
No.
your
And
computer.
it was like, oh, you have to switch over from SV good thing to BG thing and be like,
Right.
oh, okay, I got to go and put in the thing that makes that happen. And
Yeah.
be like, oh, the sound's not working.
Nope.
You got the right thing selected. And be like, oh, okay, is this a Sound Blaster card? And be like,
Uh,
no, it's not a Sound Blaster card, but it's a Sound Blaster compatible card. And be like, okay, so it should work with Sound Blaster, maybe.
maybe if you're lucky. Like it was a whole mess back in
PC
those days.
gaming, PC gaming back in the early '90s, and I imagine, I mean, in the '80s as well, because I was on the Commodore 64.
Hmm.
It was like a badge of honor just to make those things function. I
Big
mean,
time. Yeah.
console games were also pretty hit or miss on their functionality too. If
Oh.
the NES was an ergonomic nightmare in terms of bending the pins and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, no, it's interesting that when people get hooked up into the nostalgia of that time, the things that they are remembering is things that worked
Yeah.
and not the other half of the equation of just screaming at a machine.
No, you forced that part out of your head, my friend. Anybody look like those games? No one loves those old classic games. Like people like me and Kevin. But we also recognize that it was not. It was not this glorious golden age of games that just worked. I get frustrated with day one downloads and patches and shit like that too. But that kind of shit has always been with us. That it's always been with us.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right. So that'll do it for tonight's episode. If you can, do us a favor, follow us on Instagram, at Twitter, at PixelLit Pod. Head on over to our website at Pixellit. It's www.pixelitpod.com. From there, you can see, read transcripts of each of the episodes, as well as find links to our Discord and our Steam page. And if you're feeling really froggy, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and Good Pods. It really helps us out in the discoverability on those platforms. And that'll do it for tonight's episode. Thank you so much, and have a good evening.
Good night. Okay.